Hey everyone, this is Activities Across Grade Levels, and we are jazzed to have like our episode between Thanksgiving and Christmas because this is the one. So we had to make sure it was a really good one. So lots of good things on the way on that front. And we don't even need this because I already remembered and I'm feeling kind of pretty cool about that. You're going to see the words thank and you on the screen. What is thank you about? Well, we thank you for joining us, but we're also pleased to be able to just share this with anybody who's watching the recording. As you may remember from the last episode, if you were with us, this show is going to be first and third Thursdays of most months. Now, in December, it's going to be the first and only the first. And in January, it's going to be the third and only the third. So there's going to be a big old break where you're going to write us over the New Year holiday and just say, hey, please do an episode on this, or can you teach us blah, blah, whatever it might be. We're happy to get it from you. So Thursday, January 21st will be the next episode after this one, and we hope you will join us for sure. So my name is Rushton Hurley. I have a little shindig called Next Vista for Learning, free library of videos by and for teachers and students everywhere about things you learn and places you live and the service you do for others and lots more as well. And so I hope that is of interest to you. Now, there are many people to thank. We'll start with the good folks at the Krause Center for Innovation, the people who have allowed merit to be a thing for years and years. There are two of the three panelists are graduates of merit or the derivative, as are at least two of our people in the participant list as well. Awesome. So Cecilia and Justin, good to have you guys here. We want to thank Fowler Unified for letting Susan Stewart, also known as K2 Can 2 Lady, for being a part of this and bringing all of the wonderful expertise she has with the younger students to our discussions. And also to all of those people in the Long Island University EdTech Master's Program who watch this, thank you for being part of this as well. And Mike and Betty, good to see y'all. All right, so we want to give a special thanks to Free Tech for Teachers guy, Richard Byrne, who helps us tell about these little things that we do. He and I do an episode of that late in the year. I do an episode of, it is called, oh man, losing my game in December. Two ed tech guys take questions and share cool stuff, which is actually the name of that webinar that we do. So you should meet us first. My partner in the Activities Across Grade Level world, that would be Susan. Susan, tell us about yourself.
Hello, friends. My name is Susan Stewart. I'm an instructional technology coach from Central California. In addition to my role as an instructional technology coach, I'm a former kindergarten and second grade teacher. So I come from the land of sunshine and rainbows, and I'm really excited to be here with you. I'm also a mom of three and super excited about today's episode.
Heck yeah, I am Rushton. I'm a father of two cats because that's the way we like it. Former high school teacher of Japanese language, former principal, and now a guy that runs a nonprofit. And this is Lisa. Lisa, tell us about yourself.
You look just like me, right? And I made it short enough, right? That's about the height. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here today. I am Lisa Highfill, and I am currently an instructional tech integration coach in Pleasanton Unified, where this is my 27th year in Pleasanton Unified. I stayed one district my whole career. I was a fifth grade teacher for 20 years and then got this opportunity to coach the teachers and everyone. And I come to find out, love it. I really love working with adults. I was in merit in 2010 with Rushton, and I love telling the story that when I filled out the application, he asked me what my experiences were in Google Apps for Ed, and I didn't know Google had apps at that point. So I feel like I've worked a lot in the last 10 years to get to this point, and I love my start with Merit. So yeah, that's
So all of you out there who are like, we want to know more about this merit thing, stay in touch. You will get an email from me after we finish processing the episode and posting it so that the recording is available for people. Feel free to write back. Just reply saying, you mentioned this merit thing. Happy to tell you more about it. All right, how does this work? So what we do is we take a theme of some kind, a tool, an idea, whatever it may be, and we say, what does this look like for a K-2 crowd? And what does it look like for the 3rd to 5th graders? And what does it look like for middle school? And what does it look like for high school? And today we're going to be talking about Hyperdocs. And in order to do that across grade levels, I'm going to pass this over to Lisa, who is just one of those amazingly cool people. And Susan and I are just giddy with like all of this. So Lisa, get us going, share your screen and share like what it is that we can do with the youngest kiddos with Hyperdocs.
Here we go. So we're going to start with what we can do with our youngest learners with Hyperdocs. And I started off right with one that, and you're going to find out about what Hyperdocs are as we travel through this experience. But I wanted to show you, sometimes people think Hyperdocs are just for Google and just for Docs, but I created this one on ThingLink. With our youngest learners, I didn't want any kind of navigation issue. I shared a link, they opened it up, and this was not just a play around. This was a lesson, full lesson, explore, explain, apply, 3 dots. The first one where they had to watch and learn about US symbols. This one was where I did direct teaching with them, teaching them what a symbol is. So they got to this point where we talked about numbers of stripes and what colors and numbers of stars. And then we ended with ABC. I want you to paint and make a flag. And the kids, was amazing because these resources were all shared within
Hey,
one.
Lisa?
Yes.
Apologies for interrupting. For some mysterious tech reason that can only be explained by the heavens and those in the heavens, we are only seeing like 1/3 of your screen. That's a little bit different. That's getting us closer. I think we're darn near there. I think actually what you're doing right now is probably the good move. So reshare.
I'm gonna reshare because you know what happened? I moved it to my second screen. So
that will do it. And by the way, for all of you watching, there's your bonus lesson today. When you share in Zoom, don't move it from one screen to another, or you will have the opportunity to say, sometimes tech doesn't work the way we think it ought to.
You know what? And thank you, Justin, for stopping that, because how annoying to be listening to this and not have that actually see what I'm talking about. So again, I'll show you. I really appreciate that. And also I want to let you know that I mess up every day, constantly. Pretty much every class I'm ever teaching in, it's something happens. So here were our little dots, explore, explain, apply, where the kids could go back. And it was so amazing. They felt that agency, like I forgot how many stripes. And I saw them going back to the dot and going to navigate through these slides. And just that fine motor coordination and moving that was just absolutely amazing. But what blew me away was this is one of the little stars. And I think they got tired of putting all the stars on, either that or they lost count. But I was watching, actually, I did this one a while ago. I was watching the student do this lesson and they made a whole red square. And I'm like, did they not see there were stripes? And I thought, what is going on? And they took the eraser tool and started to erase the red square. And because I didn't give instructions or walk them through how to do it, they had that agency to be creative and think differently. And I would have never even thought to do it that way. And I was kind of blown away. And I absolutely love this flag now because of that. And so I love inquiry learning with Hyperdocs and that possibility, their curiosity. What is behind that little post, that little link I did? And can you build agency for them to be able to figure it out on their own? And one thing that I hope that you're going to see as a pattern as we go through this is that creativity to show what they know. It's really important. So let's move on. Upper elementary. And I chose this one to share today because Rushton, this was inspired by you, to be honest, because this video right there, do you recognize that video? You are the one who showed me this video for the first time, Adventures of a Cardboard Box, because Rushton
Beautiful story, beautiful story.
best videos. Well, I sat on that video for years going, I've got to build a lesson around this. And it really hit me because then when I came to Kane's Arcade, I'm like, oh, that's kind of like it. But then I'm like, but I need to do a literature lesson. I have to pull in my standards. And so I found the book Nothing to Do. And it is an amazing story. And come to find out, it is absolutely perfect to do with remote learning because kids scheduled, these overscheduled kids all of a sudden have to be resourceful in their home. And so this Hyperdoc was actually for elementary age kids. You can definitely adapt it up or down. And each day was listed here. Day one, we're doing this, and it's very clear what they're doing. It has collaboration in this lesson. It has critical thinking. I did a recording of the story. I actually read it. I wrote to Douglas Wood, and he gave me permission to do it. So that was important to do. Always give that kind of credit. And I learned that in Merit, by the way. And in your writer's notebook, it's like kind of getting to that deep thinking. I do workshop model for reading and writing. And so this was really important to get to that point. They watched part 2 and they were starting to relate it and starting to think about that whole idea of what do I do when there's nothing to do, and how that's kind of a good thing. And then we got to the apply. So we did the explore with that video and kind of finding that deeper meaning in that video, then the explain, which was the not that story, and then the apply. What can you make with unused cardboard? And they were sharing, they shared their creations onto Padlet, so everyone's very visual for that digital notebook. So that was my elementary Hyperdoc. And this one was all based upon packaging a complete lesson in one place. Instead of handing out multiple links that kids are then searching, where's the link to the Padlet? Where's the link to the video? I need to see that again. It's all packaged in one place, teaching that executive functioning for your students. And on this one, it was also having lots of different kinds of media. I wanted them to learn from a video and then from a book, a literature book, although it was presented in video. And then I wanted them to also then build, get away from tech and start applying that concept. So what, now what? And that authentic application. And again, their assessment was based on creativity. It's a game changer for this time period of how do I know what kids know? And so then let's keep moving. I'm just flying through these because then maybe I'll slow down at some point. This has been kind of the hot Hyperdoc lately. And I always make one and take it on tour, I say. And so this is called my Picture Day Hyperdoc. And I made this because we don't have Picture Day now. And I go into classrooms all over my district and say, I'm here for Picture Day. And they're like, what? I didn't wear the right shirt today, or I didn't do my hair. I'm all, no, we're doing virtual Picture Day. And it is a lesson that I help as a coach teach teachers how to then package a lesson so your kids aren't just all crazy with what to do. And so I have the teachers, and this actually walks through how to set this up for your class. I built this for the teachers in my district to be able to take this, make a copy and set it up, and you could do the same and follow those steps so you can do Picture Day with your class. You can add your class link here. Then they click on it and then the kids know exactly what to do. We gave them this Hyperdoc and they knew to click here and they knew how to sign in. Now we walked them through how to do that a little bit, but for anyone who wasn't there or was too slow or messed up and didn't quite hear the instructions, I created a video here for them to watch. And that's a really important aspect. If I have students who are newcomers, who are learning English, I've taught those students how to open up my videos, and I make sure they're loaded to YouTube in this case, thinking about the needs of the student in the class. And I show them how to change the closed captioning so that it's in their home language. And at least, although it's not perfect, it's a little bit better. They can still hear my instructions that way. And so that's kind of that built-in support for all students, that they can come back to this. The best part, though, was the extension ideas, the using comics using Pixton. But I was not ready to have every teacher commit to a paid account. So I thought, and I did do a tutorial how to create one, but you've heard of Bitmoji classrooms? Well, I decided instead of teachers making them, why wouldn't our students be making them? And instead of making like a Bitmoji classroom, they could be using them for their settings for their writing. And so that's where this comes in. We were using, they were using all the Bitmoji clip art and creating on slides. They were publishing their narrative stories using the Pixton avatars because they kind of like those. I didn't want kids on Bitmoji. That's not, I couldn't get them on there. I got there, they could download their Pixton avatar and put it right into slides and create these amazing narrative stories with all these amazing details put into them. You'll see there's some images on there as well in these stories. I taught them how to use Unsplash, which is copyright-free images, and they're beautiful to use for their narrative settings. It's amazing, the writing that's going in here. And I'll tell you, I go into these middle school classrooms and they are so engaged in this. They are really excited about it. And the teachers are like, what did you do to my students? So I'm pretty excited about that. I get to kind of, and then again, I'm the fun auntie who comes in and they think this is all fun, but you know, we were doing external, internal dialogue conversations, and how do we move the action along when it's kind of like graphic novel looking. It was a great one. But again, that authentic purpose for assessment and that creativity, they are creating these graphic novels to share at the elementary school. And so they know there's a purpose to these books they're making. That's really important when it comes to assessment. I tend to get a better quality product from them when we're doing that. All right, high school. Maybe you've heard this one before. These are book bentos. And you know, I was looking at this lesson and I realized we made this 3 years ago. This was in 2017. I was inspired by, I was on Instagram and I was following book bentos on Instagram. And I thought, I want to bring that lesson to kids. I want kids to do this because I was tired of assigning like a reading log to see if they were doing their reading, because I don't think that they were actually being honest every time on that reading log. And I thought, I was inspired. I saw this visual. How can I make a lesson that I could then bring to students and package it in a way that they can build some agency, some authentic purpose, that greater depth of knowledge for their writing. I kind of want to solve all the problems in one lesson. And so I worked with another teacher and she did a lot of the design and we went through. And again, this is not just a list of tasks to go through. First, they were to explore. Everyone, this is a book bento. You notice I haven't said what it is to you right now. And this became a class discussion. Here are book bentos. Tell me, what do you notice about them? What do you think a book bento is? What are elements of a book bento? What does this tell you about what you know about the reading? Now, if you haven't read A Bridge Across the Ocean, you might not understand that book bento, but I'll tell you, you might know The Outsiders. And so they were like, oh yeah, we read that in middle school. And then they were able to go, I know what the cards are for. And they were referencing that. It kind of is amazing when they can start to pull these physical items from around their house and curate them to tell sort of like the inside secret of, you'd only know what this item was if you read the book. And so we wanted to have them have that opportunity for that creativity. We spelled out, because the high schoolers needed those requirements, exactly what was required of them, what to do. We decided to use ThingLink. This particular teacher used ThingLink in the classroom. And so they went and put explanations for each item that they included in their bento so that all kids could explore their bentos. We kind of went through the how-to, here's the explain, and then the apply. There was a tutorial for them, anyone who got stuck, and then they turned them in. And the best was when they would go and share them with everyone. And the room went silent when we said, here are all the book bentos, and you are able to then explore. So in the center, this was a little review of the book. And as you go through, do you see how I just went from like kindergarten ThingLink to high schoolers making their own ThingLink and adding in why we would, oh, here's a Goodreads link. The student went on there. And why is this footprint an important part of the story that it was included? I love this student actually made that footprint and then put these items down on here. They really got into it. Then they stood over it and took a photo of it and then uploaded it into ThingLink. They were very clever with these. And again, it inspires that curiosity, that inquiry for learning. And it was, I was just amazed. These are actually the students who we were working with. These are their examples of what they made. Now I've seen a lot of people redo this lesson and edit and revise it. Oh, look at, they even included a video all about Malala, and it was just incredible the details they were able to put in. And students were then like, I want to read that book. Now, I did say in here that when I did this activity, one of the best pieces to this is authentic purpose, to show what you know. We were in the classroom when we did this 2017, and the teacher wanted to print these. So they printed them and they hung them into the high school library all around, and all of a sudden became this beautiful art in the library. And they were like, that's not enough. We need to take this further. We took them to the public library in Pleasanton as art from our students, creating these beautiful pieces that were hanging publicly for the town to see. And I think that authentic purpose, to show what you know, or that deep thinking. I think the students even included a QR code to their thing link. They're like, but they need to see why we chose the items. I thought that was pretty cool for that creativity, that deeper thinking. And there's no more of, did you read the book? Or are you cheating on this one? I was pretty excited about that. There are updated ones. If you know Amanda Sandoval, I should have included that link. She's done this so you could do it without thing link, and you can actually make a key. Instead of those little dots, you could number your items and then make a key for what those are. There's a lot of different ways. I've had teachers have students put these book bentos into Flipgrid and then talk over them, or even Seesaw. I've had younger students use this and explain the ideas of why they put them in. So that is another way. I really flew through these lessons. The key to them, though, all of them, is that they have an explore, an explain, and an apply to them. They're not just a series of tasks to run through. They're not just a Google worksheet. They're not just a worksheet, a digital worksheet with links. There is purpose built in to meet the needs of all the students unique to your classroom. And one of the best parts about these, if you like these and you want to use any of them, all you have to do is open it and go File, make a copy. And then do double check. Like, you might want to take off my Padlet and put on your own Padlet. Otherwise, I'm going to get all of your students' answers. And you might want to change out where they turn their work into. And so you need to edit and revise for your students for that purpose. But you are welcome to find as many Hyperdocs as you can. And on that note, along with Hyperdocs, we built Teachers Give Teachers for this very purpose. We are all about sharing these digital lessons. So you can think of them in terms of, I find one I like, I remix it to fit my needs, my standards, and my students' needs, most importantly. Well, our Teachers Give Teachers database is back. I mean, it will be back soon. We're reopening within the next 3 weeks. We will be sharing a link so you can be notified if you want to about when that's coming, because our Hyperdoc lessons are always free. We do ask that of them. There's another site, and I'm all good with that other site, but this is why we do Teachers Give Teachers, just to keep it free and unique for that purpose. If you want to learn more about Hyperdocs, we have an academy. It's at hyperdocs.co. We created the last 2 years, instead of writing another book about it, although we do have a book about this, we decided to create online academy that really breaks it down into small chunks with that adult learning theory in mind. You can access it at any time. We are on Twitter. We are our Teachers Give Teachers there. We have a temporary one up on the website. And if you haven't heard about our Facebook group, it is off the hook. People are so kind in there, always sharing. They're answering these questions you might have. I had a teacher one time put in this isn't working. I did a Hyperdoc lesson today and it was a total flop. Now what do I do? And about 20 people jumped in with support. There is no dumb questions in there. Everyone is really kind and really nice and sharing a ton. I'm really proud of that group and proud to be a part of that idea of collaborating and connecting around lesson design. Like, we're lesson plan geeks. I mean, if I were to sum it up, and that is my sharings for today, to go a little fast.
That was awesome. Thank you for sharing. I am so moved by those book bentos. Like, I just took a screenshot and sent it to my high school library media person, because I was just like, this right here, especially because our kids are still at home. What a great, meaningful just wonderful project. I'm so excited to use it.
So Lisa, there were a couple of questions that came up in the chat as we went along. One, how does this work with Seesaw? So if you're thinking of Hyperdocs and Seesaw, what are some pointers you can give for that?
Well, you can upload a Hyperdoc as an assignment in Seesaw, and you can share it with them that way. Sometimes, though, I include the link in the apply portion for my workflow and say, turn yours into Seesaw and explain your thinking, or you can ask them a reflection question as they turn it in. So it doesn't have to originate in Seesaw. Sometimes I'll build in a link to our Seesaw page for their turning in something.
And I love that
because assessment halfway through, right?
Now that in a Seesaw activity, you can get that direct activity link. So before it was, the kids had to know what to do, but now you right on your Hyperdoc, you could go actually put the specific activity link right on there and it would send the students right to that space. So yeah, very, very cool.
So there was also a question about ThingLink, by the way. So we look at ThingLink, and the students, the stuff you showed, I mean, it's really, really beautiful work, right? Tell a little bit about ThingLink as something of a go-to, like why would the nature of ThingLink be really useful for what you think about when you think about Hyperdocs?
I love curiosity. And there's nothing more. I mean, I grew up, I don't even know what that show was called, where they had the 3 curtains and you had to choose which curtain. Do you remember that? That's an old show. It was like, oh my gosh. And if you chose the wrong curtain, behind it was like a bale of hay, or,
I think that was a Price is Right component.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. Isn't that silly? I loved that. And I was like, oh, which one do I choose? And I wanted to choose all of them. And ThingLink is like that to me. It's that inquiry-based learning where they can click and hover over those dots and self-select and build knowledge as they go through it. And it's amazing. Oh, let's make a deal. Yes, that's what it was. And so I kind of have always had it in my head, like, how can we bring that engagement and curiosity for learning? And that's why I go to ThingLink. I think it's really amazing. I like kids creating them. They can import their voice and their videos. And so it's just a different modality. I know it's hard to choose between different web tools. I've been using that one for a lot of years, so I kind of stick with it.
That's cool. Well, let's squeeze in one more question. Cecilia asked, which stage in creating a Hyperdoc do you find the most challenging?
Walking away from it and saying it's done. Because, as it's sort of like when I make soup, and I make soup a lot, and I'm always kind of fiddling with it and adjusting it and making it this. And so it's kind of hard to walk away sometime and say, okay, this is good. Let's try this. And then I can go back and adjust later. I started off really challenged with making them look okay. And so I didn't feel creative in my design, but I found other people who were really creative, and I would just make a copy of their pretty Hyperdocs, and then I would delete the content and then put my content. And then I started to get better at that part. So I guess those are my 2 areas where I always tease, I'm gonna walk away from the Hyperdoc. It's plenty good for now.
Well, loads and loads of cool things you can see in the slides. We hope that you, now remember, you're going to get an email, and by clicking on the proper link in that email, it'll take you to where you'll find the recording of this webinar. You'll find a link to the slides and a link to the links. So she gave us like all these cool links that we've added to that page. So as we always like to do in the show, we like to say, hey, remember, 2020, pretty challenging year, right? So hopefully you're taking good care of yourself so you can be the teacher you need to be for a kid who's kind of at that moment needing something a little bit different. We hope that you will do a number of things. So one is that you'll sign up for my newsletter, and this newsletter thing, right? Every Thursday that we do these webinars, I give away like a Starbucks card, because that's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to give away a Starbucks card. And lots of people are like, oh, I won't win, so they don't sign up. And I'll get sometimes get like one person signing up. That person's chances are fantastic when that happens, just saying. So with that math lesson aside, make sure to sign up for the newsletter. If you're already in it, just put already in, just hope to win the Starbucks. All right, all good. No problem at all. You might take a look at a blog that I write called Inspiring Improvement. There are books I've written to hopefully make you a better teacher, make your school a better place for everybody. And by all means, if you have questions, stay in touch with us. We would love to be able to talk to you. Susan, how do people stay in touch with you?
Oh, you can find me on the internet at Tech Coach Susan, and also following the hashtag K2Can2. That's where I share and retweet amazing things that really focus on empowering our littlest learners.
And for me, go to nextvista.org. There is plenty of info there that you can use to get questions for me and Susan. And a huge thank you to Lisa for having you be a part of what we're doing today. It is great fun to get together with friends and share cool ideas. With that, we are going to finish the recording, but we thank you all for joining us. And by all means, if you are in the audience, stick around and we'll spend a few more minutes before we wind everything down. And if you are heading out, we hope you have a wonderful end to a challenging year and that 2021 will be an inspiring one for you.